Hey guys, this is OddOneGaming. This is going to be another Dragonheir SilentGods video. In today's video, I want to talk about what is the #1 priority in the game when it comes to stamina. Okay, like where should you use it early on, and what should you prioritize first? There's obviously quite a few places that can give you some good benefit. We have the dungeons that give us gear. So we basically have the Grave of Venom, which is a pretty good spot where you definitely want to go and farm that. Then we have the domains, the Frost one, the Flame one, and the Lightning one, which obviously need those in order to be able to ascend your characters. But before you can get to do all that, what do you need first and foremost? Well, you need experience. So the #1 priority in this game, early on especially, is the Goblin Lair. Okay, the reason for that is, well, this is where you get yourself your XP potion. So I kind of mentioned this a little bit in my videos yesterday and the day before when I was talking about getting your first team set. Okay, so by the time this video goes out, the Clepsydra torrent should be over and most of you should have already set an initial team, okay, of like people that you built or like you prepared to be able to farm the Grave of Venom, the goblins and stuff like that. But the first thing, like maybe you still got this open. If you still got this open, keep in mind, always prioritize the goblin first, because if you do not have the goblin open, or if you're farming lower stages, you're basically wasting your stamina. Okay, the stamina regenerates pretty hard. It's like every 10 minutes you get 1 more stamina. The cap is 120. We barely get any refills. Like we get quite a few. I guess I got a few from the battle pass, we get a few from the hard training. Then buying them is quite expensive. So for example, if I buy one over here, it's with 50 war marrow just to buy 60. It's not a full refill, it's just 60. Then after that, the second one's 100, the third one's 100 as well, and then the fourth one costs 200 war marrow. So this is pretty expensive. So you're always gonna try and be really careful with your resources and always try to prioritize the goblin. Okay, so what do you need? What are you gonna use if you're gonna farm goblin? Well, if you think about the concept of how the goblin is, I think it has like 5 or 6 waves of goblins that just keep coming and keep attacking you. So the easiest way to do that is just focus on AoE champions, okay? So some prime examples for this one are the Adventurer, okay? You can use the Adventurer in Lightning, for example. He has an AoE hit here. He has triple hit, so what was it? Single hit on this one. And then the passive, he just brings attack speed. So Lightning for the Traveler is the #1. Actually not #1, that's #2. #1 would be the Fire one, because the Fire one has an AoE hit here and then obviously has a triple hit on this one, so he can do the most amount of damage. And then the last one is actually the Ice Traveler, because he only does it on the battle skill. On his ultimate he does a shield. You can even deactivate the shield if you want to, but I guess you can leave it because it doesn't kill that much of the animation. And the reason why the Adventurer is so important is because he's your flex hero. I already made a video on this saying that the Adventurer / Traveler, whatever it's called, is the #1 priority because he's your flex spot. He's the one that can change in between roles. He can be a DPS, he can be a control, or he can be a support. And from these 3, the reason why the Fire one is the best one is, first of all, it does the most damage, but secondly, it has the lowest recharge time. Okay, you can see it's 16 seconds to come back to the ultimate as Fire, whereas in the Lightning it's 20 seconds. So it's definitely a massive difference. And if you already started to build your core team around Fire plus Poison, that's gonna be even better because you're gonna get a bonus from the elements here. Okay, so for example, I have a 5 team. There's no 5 hero element affinity bonus that I get, but I get a 3 hero one, but every single one of my people get this bonus. So more attack, more defense, more HP, again, more attack. So if you are over here, you might have Horus, Hexandra, and the Adventurer. Well, you might need, or you might already kept another 2 people that do damage. Okay, so that's what you have to prioritize. So as an example, my team, apart from the Adventurer, I had Yola. That's an AoE hit, okay, so on her ultimate she does an AoE hit, does pretty good damage. She's also a really good candidate for using the decreased defense one. I have the legendary artifact, but you can use the epic one as well, which I have, for example, on Frurbath. This is something that you can use on her. Then I have Filto, which kind of does the same thing. He shoots in a straight line and can do some massive damage. Then on his A2 again, he does some area damage on the battle skill, and then the passive, again, every time he does damage, he has a little bit of a splash damage, which can be really good. Then the other ones, I went with Martina, which again, she does some pretty good AoE damage. Then she has this one that she does damage around her, which again, more damage. Plus the passive, every time she gets rally, she gets closer to the ultimate. And then the last one is actually Hegio, which again, he's another rally champion. And again, he has an AoE hit here. This one's only a single one, but it boosts the ultimate, okay? So this one can be pretty good. So as you can see, I have basically 5 people that do AoE hits. This is the priority. You definitely want this because, well, if you're trying to tackle some other areas, okay, so let's take the flame domain as an example. If you're going to try and fight the flame domain, what will you need? Well, you're going to need some support, you're going to need some damage, but most importantly, you're going to need a hero that either brings you the block debuffs, okay, the one that stops you from getting all those flames that just get you killed, or you need somebody that does a cleanse, okay? So in order to do that, you're going to have to build another specific champion for that dungeon. Then when it comes to the frost domain, the ice domain, that one's actually pretty easy. That one you just need to have some support, survive, and just have a little bit of damage. It's not as difficult. However, you might need somebody in there that brings you more healing because you might take too much damage on the waves. Then if we think about the lightning domain, well, that one again has a specific mechanic that requires you to bring either lots of damage or block buff champions, actually, yeah, lots of damage force to be able to kill them, but you're gonna need either somebody that does block buffs, like, you know, buff prohibition, I think it's called. So there's people like Voresh, for example, that do that, or you're gonna need to bring people in there that do heal prohibition, because what that boss does is every time, you know, like, he goes into his ultimate, or even before that, he keeps putting continuous heals on himself, and well, if he does that, he keeps healing, you never kill him. So that's another role you need to cover. Then if we're moving over and start talking about the other dungeons, well, we're gonna have the Grave of Venom. Grave of Venom, you definitely need at least 1, if not 2 decrease attack champions. You're gonna need healers, you're gonna need a good tank. So again, you need another one to specialize. Like, you get the gist, right? So for every single one of the dungeons and the content that we unlock, we're going to be needing some specific heroes. And the easiest way to be able to build those specific heroes is to be able to farm Goblin at the highest stage, get as many of these XP potions as we can, and that way, even if you bring those specific heroes, so for example, let's say I want to go and farm Flame Domain, and I'm thinking like, okay, I need to build Anna. Well, I do not necessarily need to get Anna to be, because she's the one that does cleansing, okay? On her ultimate, if we check, this also dispels 1 debuff from all allies, also she heals. So you're gonna need to build her. You do not necessarily need her to get to level 90s like everyone, okay? Because you're going to be farming higher stages of Goblin, you're going to get more XP pots, and just by upgrading her, let me just show you as an example, boom, that's level 30 straight up, upgrade her, and then we're going to need, let's see, till 50, we're going to need, what, 2 of these, 94 of these, which these are 1000, the equivalent split by 15, so it's gonna be like 4 or 5 of these. So if you farm the Goblin higher, it's gonna make it so much easier to be able to build other heroes, so you can bring specialists for each and every single one of these dungeons. So keep in mind, guys, #1 priority in this game, especially early on, and honestly even for quite a while, is always going to be the Goblin Lair. The more XP you farm, the higher stage you farm, the more rewards you get. Because as you can see, let me move myself to the other side, the higher I get, the more, you know, the more XP pots I get, and you know, they stack up quite a bit, considering the fact that, like I mentioned, stamina is not as easy to come by. So yeah, keep in mind this, guys. I hope this is helpful. I hope this, you know, makes you be able to focus on the right area of the game. I'm gonna try and maybe make something like this for every single one of the dungeons. Like, I started with Goblin because this one's 100% the first one. Then I'm gonna maybe cover the Grave of Venom, because that one's the most important one to farm gear early, okay? It's one of the easier ones, as long as you have enough support and increased attack to farm, and it gives you pretty good gear, which, honestly, that gear from there can be used on anyone. Tanks, supports, your DPS, so it has some combinations in there that are really good. So I'm gonna make a video on that one, maybe for later today or for tomorrow, and I guess I could make a video the same for the domains. Leave it in the comments below, guys. Do you want me to make a video on every one of the domains separately, or should I group them together? Because I feel like the frost domain is pretty straightforward. Just the flame one and the lightning one are need a little bit of a different mechanic. So, you know, I could maybe do tempest one separate, do flame one separate, and then maybe just ignore the flame one, because the flame one doesn't have anything too complicated. Just survive the waves, get to the boss, and you should be just fine. But yeah, anyway, this is gonna be it for the video today, guys. I do hope this is helpful for you. I do hope you get some ideas and helps you progress through the game a lot from watching my videos. If you have anything that you want me to make a specific video on, just leave it in the comments below, and I'm gonna try and cover that, because I'm trying to help as many of you out there as I can. But anyway, this is gonna be it for the video today, guys. As always, if you do enjoy my content, don't forget to like this video, subscribe to the channel to see when I upload next, and I'm gonna see you on the next one. Peace, love, take care, everyone. Bye, guys.